Well, it happened. Biden stepped down. He's no longer running for president, and he decided to go ahead and endorse Kamala Harris. I think most of us should have saw that coming. It is what it is. This is the situation we're in. So now it's likely to be Kamala Harris against Trump. I think it's absurd, and I think she's going to lose. I think her ratings were the lowest amongst all VPs. I think this puts us in a really, really tough situation. I'm pretty sure I've spoken at length about what my position was regarding voting. And I think we're in a position now where you're basically having to choose between Kamala and Trump.
Sansa. No, you can't make me.
I thought choosing between Biden and Trump was already abysmal. I think this might be worse. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I didn't vote for Biden, okay? When it came down to it, I did not want Trump to win. I did not want Trump to be in office. And so I virtue signaled. I did. I went and I started talking about how absolutely dangerous Trump was and telling people that this election was incredibly important and that they needed to go vote and that Trump could not be in office because of the danger that he represented. And I encouraged people to do that. But when it came time for me to vote, I could not vote for him. I chickened out. Here's my rationale. I always think about the future. My thought process was, I do not want to live in a world where I have to tell my children, my grandchildren, people who look up to me, people who respect me, that I, with my knowledge, my intelligence, my faculties, I decided to vote for Biden. The reason I could not bring myself to vote for Biden is because I had to remember that Biden was a person who is responsible for the greatest harm to Black people through legislation in the last 50 years. Let me say it this way. We've always taken a dump on Bill Clinton, those of us who are informed, because we realized he passed that crime bill and how absolutely dangerous that was for Black people. Well, the thing is, Biden took credit for writing that bill. Now, people would think, man, he's not actually physically writing the bill. That's not it. He wrote it.
You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know.
This isn't the first bill he wrote. He wrote another bill about anti-busing, but that's a whole nother conversation. The fact of the matter was, Biden wrote that bill. I personally cannot think of a single more damaging piece of legislation that has impacted the Black community since 1970. Not one. You can't either. You can say certain presidents are bad, and you can't name a single bill, a single piece of legislation that has been more devastating to the Black community than Biden's crime bill.
I don't care if you beat me, Granddad, I won't eat it. That is disgusting.
That Bill Clinton passed. So for me, when it came down to it, I could not imagine having an intelligent grandson or an intelligent son who becomes of age, begins doing his own research and his own studying, and then says, you knew this about this man and then voted for that man? Well, yeah, because I was so scared about the danger of this other guy that, you know, I had to vote him out. So, okay, what did he do that was so politically harmful for Black people? He had his harms. He signal boosted racism. He signal boosted a bunch of white nationalists and ethno-nationalists. He moseyed up to the Proud Boys. He did all sorts of atrocities, things that I think were absolutely disgusting. I can't put a single thing on him that's equivalent to Biden's crime bill.
Those are essentially the facts.
So with that being said, I wanted him out of office more than anything, but I personally couldn't vote for him. Now, fortunately, I'm in a blue state. I'm in California. I knew that my vote didn't actually matter. I was all right. Next comes Kamala Harris. So Kamala Harris has been in enough scandals. People have seen enough about what she has done.
She showed up at the two most pivotal times in this first trial, and me being convicted and me being sentenced. She wanted to be present for a celebration of a conviction.
That's what it felt like, celebration?
A celebration, that's what it felt like.
She was the Attorney General, the elected state Attorney General for the great state of California, the state I've lived in all but 2 years of my life. The problem that I have with Kamala is that Tulsi Gabbard, a person who I do not respect, I thought she was intelligent, but then I realized, oh, she is just literally grifting, came for her during the debates. And she specifically said, you know, Kamala, you brag about police reform and about, you know, reforming the system, the criminal justice system. Yet when you were district attorney, you didn't do that. Quite the contrary.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
With all of that being said, I had a great disdain for Kamala Harris. And the thing that Tulsi was talking about regarding the cheap labor was about firefighters. It's a really disgusting thing. So California, a decent portion of firefighters in the state of California are prisoners. While you are in prison, you can be trained and then you can go fight fires. You're going to be paid pennies compared to the actual firefighters, but yes, you can fight fires in prison. The thing is, there are statutes in place that say if you fought fires in prison, you cannot be hired as a firefighter. So you're trained, you know the job, you risk your life while a prisoner, and that disqualifies you from actually becoming a firefighter when you get out. They knew that they were using these prisoners to fight these fires. Kamala Harris' office floated around a memo where they were talking about the idea of leaving people in prison longer because if they let them out, it would hurt like their firefighting force because they were somewhat reliant on these prisoners. So to be clear, you're talking about keeping people in prison so that they can fight fires for you for free, knowing that you can't hire them when you let them out. It's evil.
It's slavery. It's literally slavery.
So when that was brought up, her response was, well, I didn't know it was happening.
How was I supposed to know?
Yes, there were high-ranking officials in my office, and yes, this was floating around in my office that I was like the head of, right? But I didn't personally know it. That was her defense.
I'm coping.
I think she has been a completely disgusting person. About the weed thing, it was gross. Don't tell me that you personally want to make sure that we decriminalize marijuana when while you're state attorney general, you choose to prosecute people for smoking marijuana, for marijuana possession, for distributing marijuana. You chose to lock up over 1,500 black men for that.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in
And
college,
I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
In college?
So don't sit here and tell me, oh, no, I really care about legalizing marijuana. That's the way to move forward. Well, if you feel like it's harmless enough to be legalized, why are you enforcing prohibition of distribution and prohibition of possession? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Furthermore, Kamala was asked specifically how you feel about reparations for Black Americans. Look.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
The way she said no there is exactly the way Black folks said no to her on the polls. Anytime we ever bring up Black issues, what she'll do is repeat our issues to us. So she'll say
200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. Legalized discrimination, segregation, disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income.
She can mouth off every single issue that we as Black Americans have faced. Ask her what she has done directly for us considering the stuff that we've faced.
Crickets.
And she can't name a single thing. Neither can this presidency. That ticket, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, you can't tell me the specifics they did for Black people. We've been over it. Student loan forgiveness benefited white people more than it did Black people. That widened the wealth gap. I think this is a fool's decision. The one person that I truly wanted to run was Michelle. I respect Michelle Obama's dignity. I respect her intelligence. I like the way she carries herself. I think she's particularly well spoken. I think she was obviously informed because you're literally sharing a bed with the president of the United States. Pillow talk is a thing. If she were to be elected, she would be going into the White House with more experience than Donald Trump did when he was elected, because Donald Trump had zero political experience. Obviously, I would need to see her policy positions to see if she stands for something or if she's just another Democrat that's just going to do nothing for Black folks.
You lied to me. I did. I lied big time to you.
I know that Kamala Harris had the lowest approval rating of any VP in the history of polling, legitimately. So if you're going to try to put that person up against Trump, and we know Trump is dangerous, I think it's just a dumb decision.
That was really stupid.
And I know there are people who want to vote blue no matter who, and they're going to get behind her. I wish you Godspeed. I don't think she has what it takes to beat Trump, and it bothers me that this is happening in this way. It's a scary thing because I genuinely think Trump has the makings of what would become a dictator.
Escape and float into my